Hello, it's Lady Boulay, and welcome back to Black American Lineage. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing, for your likes, and for your comments. Thank you for all you do to support this channel. And today, we're talking about the Chitlin Circuit. The Chitlin Circuit was a special time in Black America. To me, it was a time when we had authentic music and authentic good times without somebody else coming in telling us what was good music, what was good dancing, and what we should laugh about. So the Chitlin Circuit was a very good time in Black America. We just didn't realize it. So what was the Chitlin Circuit? The Chitlin Circuit was a collection of clubs and what some people would call honky tonks, juke joints. Some people would call them hole in the wall. Sometimes it would just be some old house that somebody might own, and that's where everybody would gather, and then they'd put their little money together, and they'd bring in a local band, or they would bring in some big name from Memphis, or Chicago, or Jackson, Mississippi. Just a place where black people could mingle and be entertained by the entertainers of the day. The entertainers made money, black people had a good time, and many of those performers went on to become recording artists and became very well known in the United States and abroad. Some of the biggest names from way back in the day started on the Chitlin Circuit. Those clubs and juke joints operated all over the United States, especially in the South, the Midwest, all over the country really. Wherever black people lived, there was a juke joint, and that was the Chitlin Circuit. Some of those entertainers would start up there in Chicago and they come all the way down to Mississippi. Sometimes they go out west as far as California and they start all over again because those little clubs existed all over the United States. The Chitlin Circuit sustained black musicians and dancers through the era of racial segregation in the United States. And it got its name from, you know what? The soul food dish, chitlins. If you buy chitlins in that red and white box that you buy at the grocery store, it's going to have chitterlings. But we don't call them chitterlings. We call them chitlins. So Beyonce is paying tribute to the Chitlin Circuit in her new album called Giddy Up. Now, people talk about Beyonce. A lot of people like her. They have the fan base called what do they call it? They call it the Beehive. And they are staunch Beyonce fans. But a lot of people criticize her. Oh, she dumb. Oh, she doesn't know how to talk. Oh, look what she did. But Beyonce is a very transformative entertainer in that she does not forget her roots like a lot of them do. And she often does things that are controversial, but they are usually founded in something historical. She just did that country album, and it is a resounding success. And white people, some of them, kicked up a whole lot of noise and a whole lot of fuss, down to comparing her to a dog and all this kind of bullshit. She didn't miss a beat. She kept on moving. So I like that about her too. She just doesn't get bogged down. Oh, they so racist. Oh, that's what they talk about. Oh, black people in the United States. She doesn't do that. She just moves on to the next thing. I really like that about her. Giddy Up, Beyonce's new album, is out March 29th, and the Grammy Award-winning artist released on Instagram what appeared to be a track list on March 27th that includes a reference to the Chitlin Circuit, a network of venues where black musicians could perform safely between the 1930s and the 1960s. It started before the 1930s, but okay, that's what they wrote. This article, by the way, comes from Time magazine. The heading for the Instagram post is Cowboy Carter and the Rodeo Chitlin Circuit, and it pays homage to the unsung and pioneering black performers who came before her, who paved the way for rock and roll. Thank you, Beyonce. Chitlin Circuit venues tended to be in areas of the segregated South where black performers weren't allowed, but it was anchored by theaters in the Midwest and Northeast with large black populations like the Apollo in New York City, the Howard in Washington, D.C., and the Regal in Chicago. That's just when white people got involved in it. Black people were entertaining all the time. Some of the most desired black entertainers to grace the Chitlin Circuit include Ray Charles, Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, B.B. King, Aretha Franklin, Little Richard, the Jackson 5, and Tina Turner. Ike and Tina Turner owned the Chitlin Circuit at one point. Everybody was talking about the Ike and Tina Turner review. Little did we know that it was mostly about Tina. And that is what we're made to think, that it was all about Tina. But Ike was the one that put Tina on stage, gave her that stage presence and the freedom to express all of that energy. Then somebody else comes on the scene and they kick him out. Just like they've kicked the rest of the Jacksons, especially Joe Jackson, out of Michael's legacy. But these people have to be remembered because it took all of that together to make those individuals who they were. And we shouldn't forget that. The Chitlin Circuit was African Americans making something beautiful out of something ugly, whether it's making cuisine out of hog intestines or making world-class entertainment despite being excluded from all of the world-class venues, all of the fancy white clubs, and all the first-rate white theaters, which they did eventually end up playing in, but not being paid what they were worth. Urban renewal projects of the 1960s and 1970s demolished many landmarks in black communities, including stops on the Chitlin Circuit. A 1970 Time magazine article also pointed out that increased television viewership helped kill off the Chitlin Circuit. But Beyonce's callback to the Chitlin Circuit will ensure that this history will not be forgotten. And again, hats off to Beyonce, because she does things that are different, that are transformative, that have people talking. And while they're talking, she's moving on to the next thing. But I appreciate her bringing back this history because it is important. And also moving from the Chitlin Circuit, when white booking agents got involved in it, that was the beginning of the end for the Chitlin Circuit, because that's when they come in and now they want to cross over. They want to put them in those white theaters and those white clubs with the lure of making more money. But the reality is they did make more money, because even though they may have made more money on paper, but right away they start pumping them with drugs, alcohol, encouraging them to buy houses that they couldn't afford because their cousin owned the real estate company, their uncle owned the jewelry store, their daddy or their brother owns the clothing and the shoe shop. The other cousin is a drug dealer, and the money goes back to them. So they found a way to take that money back from those individuals, and now they say, according to black artists, these record companies are the devil's workshop. So they really didn't improve their situation by crossing over and going to these larger white venues. It was just another way to get ripped off by the people who had enslaved us in the first place. So the Chitlin Circuit is a reminder of how black people have been exploited in the entertainment industry. And it should be a cautionary tale for black entertainers coming up today that you don't need all of this handling by these other groups of people. You should be able to handle your own career with people that you can actually trust. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about the video and have a great day.